Like, what am I doing? I'm doing it for the show. Field of 68 till I die.
This is the Field of 68 After Dark Show, the only place that you need to be for college hoops every single night.
Oh, it is a Valentine's night edition of the Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM, Channel 84, Twitter, and YouTube. The chat is a-rolling, so get those questions and get those comments in. We're less than 4 weeks away from Selection Sunday, folks. We at the Field of 68 give you a Field of 68 every single Monday and Friday on our Feeling the 68 show. Folks, it's coming. The dance is coming, and a new week of college basketball is here. I'm your host, John Fanta. We've got Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated here with us tonight, and we have Randolph Childress, who's got a Wake Forest warm-up shirt on right now. He looks like he could go out and play at 11 o'clock at night tonight. RC is with us as well, does a great job for the ACC network on your TV sets as well. Guys, it's great to be with you here on this Valentine's night. RC, I'm going to start with you here right off the bat. We're less than 4 weeks away from Selection Sunday, and the Super Bowl was last night.
Right.
So for the fan that's just jumping in today and being like, okay, now I really am all college basketball, because there are those guys. My brother's one of those guys. Like he needs football to end for him to focus in. I'm not that way. We're not that way. But Randolph, if you were just telling someone who showed up to Planet Earth today and it's like, now I want to talk college basketball, what would you tell them about this college hoop season?
Oh, wow. This is unlike anything we've seen in a long time. So I think the parity's there. Get ready to gamble. It's going to be a lot. So it's going to be a lot of money won or a lot of money lost.
We are presented by Bet Rivers. Okay. Okay, Kevin Sweeney. What's the state of the sport? And I want to ask you this. How many teams do you think realistically could come away with a national championship?
I was thinking about this today to tease ahead. Sports Illustrated, we do a thing called the Magic 8, which is essentially we pick in mid-February. It's coming out Wednesday. The 8 teams that can win a national championship. There are some rules. There are some caveats. You can only take 6 of the top 8 teams in the AP poll, and you have to take 1 team from outside the top 15 as your 8 teams to win the championship. And I feel really good about 6 teams, with the caveat that one of those teams is Baylor right now, and I want to see how they play without Sean. But I think right now there are 6 or 7 really elite teams. And I think the cool thing, you mentioned state of the sport, is that they're all like really relevant, powerful brands, right? I mean, obviously Gonzaga has incredible cachet because of what they've done, been consistently at the top of this thing. Baylor's the defending champion. Kentucky is elite. You've got the Duke storyline. You've got, Kansas is going to win the Big 12 or certainly come close to it. And then you've got Auburn, this, burgeoning football power that is, making it happen in hoops and has a huge fan base and everybody engaged. Even Providence has this incredible fan base. I mean, every single elite team this year has, these strong fan bases. Many of them have incredible tradition in basketball. So I think the sports in Arizona, I should mention as well, a blue blood or close to a blue blood program. I mean, I think it's fantastic, where we're at right now. The parity's there, as you said, RC, and we've got 6, 7 truly elite teams that could beat each other on any given night. Last year it felt like Gonzaga and Baylor and everybody else, and right now it's Gonzaga and Baylor and Arizona and Kentucky and Duke and Auburn and Kansas and everybody else, and that's pretty awesome.
Kevin, before we look at the weekend takeaways and get into this week, I am putting you on the spot, and then RC, I'm putting you on next. Kevin Sweeney, if you were to back one program in America that you believe will win the national championship on Monday, February 14th, who are you backing?
And we're not even 5 minutes into the show or heated up from the start. I love it, Fanta.
We waste no time on the Field of 68 After Dark on Sirius XM Channel 84.
I think I would go with Gonzaga, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, the coaching experience. They've got guys who've been in the moment before, and they've tasted it. But at the end of the day, they have the best effective field goal percentage offense and the best effective field goal percentage defense in college basketball. Their defense has taken on a whole new form as Chet Holmgren's gotten more comfortable. They've got the dominant interior presence in Timmy. They've got the outstanding point guard play. They've got quickness. You can't stop them in transition. To me, if you made me back a horse, it would be the Bulldogs right now.
RC.
I'm on the record, but for different reasons. I think it's Gonzaga as well. I don't, with them, I don't buy into the analytics as much because they're just so dominant in their conference. All the numbers are going to be skewed, and they're going to face far better teams as they get into conference play. But having said that, I think they have the most versatility to play size, small ball, whatever they need. And I do think they're better. And the other thing is they got this close. They're like the Cincinnati Bengals waking up this morning. It's like you get there and you're like one play. You feel like you're right there. Those guys are the national champion runner-up. They didn't win it last year. So I think there's a hunger and a need to close that that not everyone else feels. They know what it takes to get there. And I think there's an edge on them just to say, hey, we need to finish it this year.
I'm coming out scalding hot tonight.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, to be a little bit different from Mr. Sweeney and Mr. Childress, because I love the Zags for the reasons listed. The team that you should be backing at 11:06 Eastern Time on Monday, February 14th to win it all is the team that plays their games in Lexington. Big Blue, good evening. You are coming on like a thoroughbred that was once counted out but should have never been. Here comes John Calipari, and here come the Kentucky Wildcats. Oscar Tshiebwe is a National Player of the Year candidate. He does the job of two in the paint. Ty Washington, a marvel to watch, and maybe the single most must-see talent in the NCAA tournament, but he helps them win. This is not just a regular freshman. When you combine Severe Wheeler, the Georgia transfer, and you combine him with Kellen Grady, who's a good shot maker, the Kentucky Wildcats have the formula to win it all. What's the reaction?
Go ahead, Sweeney.
I buy it. I mean, look, I think the one thing I'll say with Kentucky is we will know more in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, look, I believe in this Kentucky team. I think when you watch them, they pass the eye test. They share the ball. They have great role allocation. They've got the star in the middle. They've got the guards. But with the exception of the Kansas game, they really haven't had that, sustained statement of here we are. We are the best team in the country. And here we go. Next 4 games at Tennessee tomorrow night. Huge game. Thompson Bowling Arena. That place is going to be packed in orange. It's going to be awesome. Home Alabama on Saturday. That's not an easy game. Alabama's starting to turn it around. Home LSU. LSU's got Pinson back. They can guard. They already beat Kentucky in Baton Rouge. And then at Arkansas, we saw how difficult it is to win in Fayetteville last week when Auburn came to town. I think, that's February 26th when they go to Fayetteville. I think on February 27th, if they win those 4 games, Kentucky should be the national title favorite. If they prove that they can survive this gauntlet, they should be the best team in the country. To be number 1 in the polls. They should have it all. I think they do have the parts. I worry about the health. I worry about the fact that, maybe that when you get into a big game where a team can match them athletically, like a team like Duke did early in the season, that they maybe struggle a little bit. But man, I tell you what, there's been no team that has been more impressive in the last 3 weeks or so than Big Blue Nation.
Let's be clear. They're not going through that segment undefeated, and that's okay. I mean, I think they're not going to do it. No one. I don't know if anyone in the country would. I mean, those are some really tough teams going down the stretch when they've been playing good basketball. My concerns, I think they're a Final Four team, and when you get to the Final Four, it's a whistle here, whistle there. The concerns that I have are, can Oscar Tshiebwe stay out of foul trouble? Because if he's not on the floor, they're not the same team. I think they can get away with a lot of different moving parts. He's just a part they cannot have off the floor if they're going to make a title run. And again, the only thing that I have a concern with, and we had this conversation early before they hit their stride, is their point guard. They're not going to beat a high-quality team come a Final Four caliber team if Severe Wheeler has a 6 turnover game or a 5 turnover game. That's when it costs you. So if he takes care of the basketball, he's been playing great. I know I was on him early. They're playing great. I mean, they're right there. This is as good a team as there is in college basketball. But like everyone else has their Achilles heel. Oscar's foul trouble is a concern. And again, if they have the yips and get back to turning the basketball over, that could be the end for Kentucky come tournament time. But they won't go through that stretch undefeated.
Sure.
They'll lose, and that's okay. I wouldn't think any less of them.
All right, let's talk about the Big Ten. And it was an interesting Sunday in the conference. Purdue edges Maryland in a game that they should have potentially lost, but they steal it at the end. They find a way 62-61. Illinois beats Northwestern 73-66, and Keegan Murray does Keegan Murray things. Iowa beats Nebraska. But I have to go back to Purdue. They beat Maryland by a point off a loss to Michigan. Randolph, how concerned are you about the Boilermakers?
I'm very concerned. I mean, let's be clear. That Michigan loss was a polite way of saying that was an ass kicking. I mean, the Michigan loss. I mean, they lost to Michigan. I mean, that was a beatdown. But I mean, they got a closer. We know how good Jaden Ivey is. I was expecting them to put away Maryland relatively early, and got a call that kind of saved the day for them to get them out of that one. And right now we'll be sitting here saying the wheels are falling off. So I've said it all along. They're a good team. They'll be no less than a 2 seed, maybe a 3 seed in the tournament. But my biggest concern with them has always been when Zach Edey and Williams, there's two of their top 3 players. They play the same position, and you can't have them on the floor together. And then the other thing is their defense. It just can't come and go. So they got to hit that switch and leave it on if they want to compete, because that's no one else in the country we're talking about has that issue. They're strong in that one spot, and that's great. But you can't put, it's an unfortunate thing. I mean, they're having a great year. They're well coached. They'll be right there, but that's just going to be a tough thing to overcome. You're up and down defensively, and again, having Williams and Edey being in the same position and not being able to play together, I just think in the end it'll hurt them.
I think the thing that concerns me is you come off that ass kicking against Michigan, right? You got embarrassed.
Yes,
right. You
at home,
right? You come home, you play Maryland, who's bottom 3 team in the league.
Sure,
Maryland's without their best player, Eric Ayala. And you come out and you play as poorly as they did, and you look like you have your whole student section, your amazing fan base, top 5, top 10 fan base in college basketball on your side. You've got every reason to just bury Maryland. And the fact that you never did, the fact that even after halftime, you come out and you get outscored by 9 in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Again, I just think something's missing with this group. I don't know if it's a leadership thing. I don't know if it's we've talked a lot, on this platform about,
it might be that they're, it might be that they're Peru. There's no D. But man, like they don't guard. Defend.
No, they don't guard.
100%.
And
but let's be fair though. I mean, Fats, that ball screen defense is going to be an issue against them, as it is most teams when you got a big like that. And Fats had it going. Fats Russell had it going, and he got wherever he wanted. He shot it well, and that's going to be a problem with them. It's just ball screens. I mean, putting those guys in ball screens and putting them in rotation is going to be an issue. And you got teams like Maryland that was just going, and I obviously know Danny Manning, and that was going to be something they're going to do, constantly putting him in that. And Fats played great, so give him credit for that. But you're right. I mean, defense, we've been talking about it all year with them. When they decide they want to defend, they're as good as anybody. But they have more than any team that we were talking about them being a national championship contender. Right. And now I don't think any of us feel that way. We're like, all right, Sweet 16, like and that's we don't feel that way.
I also just think I think Jaden Ivey needs to be a guy who, like, on a day like you're playing against Maryland and you're struggling, needs to just say, we're not losing today, right? Like, they don't have a guy who steps up in games late. Even Ivy. I mean, Ivy hit the huge shot against Ohio State, but I don't trust every given night Ivy to say in the second half of games, we're not losing this game. I'm going to make sure of that. Like, he just has not taken over enough games the way I want. And again, there have been moments, right? Like the Illinois game in the second half, he dominated that game. And my colleague Pat Forty was there, and he wrote a whole thing about how, Matt Painter basically said, no, roll the ball out. Jaden can go win us this game, and Jaden did. And Jaden dominated in the second half.
Who's that on? Jaden Ivey or Matt Painter?
I don't think there's one person to blame. I think, to me, the problem is that the team doesn't have a true identity. Is it a run our stuff and get threes for Stefanovic's team? Is it a play through the post with Edie and Williams team? Is it Jaden Ivey's team? There is no guy who steps up and says, this is my team. And maybe that's Painter's job. And RC, you've been in more locker rooms than I have, certainly. And maybe that's a coach's job to say, like, how are we going to, manage these late game situations? But I think part of it's just like, I need the kids to, I need the players who've been around and been in March moments to step up and figure out how to, close games late. And it just doesn't feel like they have a guy who steps up when, things are going wrong and says, this is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to finish this game.
I feel a little different than you in this, and I'll say this. I think it's because they have an identity in what they're doing. They just don't have any other option about how they can play. So it's coming and it's predictable. So for them, it's about them executing their style of play because they can't change it, right? We talked about Gonzaga, and Gonzaga has all this versatility. So if they want to play this way, they can change. Purdue can't. That's right. Fair. This is the only way they can play. And they have to out execute you and play that way, half court, running through our interior bigs, or we're screwed. And if you get us in some ragtag game or you out athlete us, we're in trouble. Like I think that's the issue with them. I don't think it's that they don't have an identity. They give it to Ivy, but sometimes Ivy can put his head down. He can get a little out of control. They have it. They're going to throw it inside to Edie. They're going to throw it inside to Williams. That is their identity. The problem is if that's not working or it's not effective, they got nothing else to go to. That's the issue.
All right, we've got a break here on the Field of 68 After Dark. Up next, Kansas back in action at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. How would Ochai Agbaji and the Jayhawks fare on a Monday evening with Mike Boynton and the Cowboys of Oklahoma State in town? Plus, it's Valentine's Day, which means we have a college basketball edition of the Newlyweds game. All that and more. This is the Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM, Channel 84.
Clear for 90.
All right, we have questions in the chat. Beautiful. First question from Justin Blackburn. RC, big fan of yours. All due respect, how'd y'all lose to Oklahoma State your senior year?
Wow. Tony Rutland, tell him Tony Rutland if he's listening. I passed him the ball and he threw up a brick, and he rattled in and it rattled around the rim and we lost. I mean, Rutherford and those guys, they had a good team. Big Country and those guys. I blame Duncan. Big Country kicked Tim's ass. That's what I think. Let's blame him.
You just blame Duncan. That 1 minute. Amazing. Okay, from Ron Loney. Sweeney, will Kentucky beat Duke if they played again?
Ooh, man,
that's a great question.
Wow.
I love the way this Duke team can defend, but I'm not betting against Kentucky right now. I'm just not. I think Kentucky would win a rematch right now.
Randolph?
30 seconds.
I won't argue. I'd say I like Kentucky's bench.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That would be the difference in the two.
Yeah, I mean, great freshman matchup.
20.
I think Mark Williams would have to be a huge key to that game because he seems to be a key cog. To me, Trevor Keels would be the key too. Like, is Trevor Keels hitting shots? Is he giving them what he has in big spots? So, I don't know. For toss up.
5,
here we go.
2, 1.
It's the Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM Channel 84, the ESPNU station. John Fanta, Sports Illustrated's Kevin Sweeney, ACC Networks, Randolph, Childress with you deep into this Valentine's night. Hope you all have had a wonderful Valentine's Day. One of the guys that we've loved watching all season long is Ochai Agbaji. And tonight, he goes for 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, as the 6th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks make it 21-4 on the season, beating Oklahoma State 76-62. Kevin, beyond the game, is Kansas the team that you love the most in the Big 12?
Man, I think for a while I felt like Baylor is the best team, but over the last month, I think I start to lean Kansas, especially now with the Chanwa injury. They have the best player on either team in Agbaji, who's been terrific. Jalen Wilson is really coming around. I think that's critical to them. You know, he was disappointing earlier in the season. I really felt they needed more from him, but since the middle of January, he's been in double figures in all but 2 games. He had 8 and 9 in those respective games, and I was at 8 and 8 and a 9 and 10. So it's not like he hasn't been playing well. He really stepped up. He had an awesome game against Oklahoma this weekend. And I'll add one other thing with this team that I really like, even with Remy Martin sidelined to lose a little bit of the explosiveness. I like the look that they gave against Oklahoma, and they used a little again today with Zach Clemens at the 5. Because you think about Bill Self teams, they really want to play through the post, get the post ups from McCormick. And McCormick's really good. He's a weapon. He's great on the offensive glass. He can really score it. But I think I think he's a 20-minute-a-game guy. And I think for the other 20 minutes, to be able to go to a kind of 5-out look and get isolation opportunities for Wilson, for Agbaji, and for Christian Brown, it makes them really dangerous. And I like Clemens a lot out of high school. He can stretch the floor. And he did a good job. He hung in on the boards against the Oklahoma big men. I saw a lot of that game this weekend. I thought Oklahoma gave him a great game at Allen Fieldhouse, but Clemens really turned it with the ability to open up the floor for the rest of these Kansas guards. And I think especially if you don't have Remy Martin, who's a more explosive shot creator, you need all those extra edges you can get to get your guards in space. And I think the look that they can give moving forward with Clemens at the 5 is really interesting for this Kansas team.
RC, where do you stand with KU?
I'm on the bandwagon, but I'm concerned. I think they'll go as far as the consistency of David McCormick takes them or allows them to be. I think he needs to be perimeter-wise. I think they'll play with anybody in the country. They just don't have, the bodies, the size, the physicality that McCormick brings. And we don't know. I mean, he can disappear on you. I mean, we've seen that in the past, and there's been some concerns. I know he had a double-double tonight, but if he doesn't show up, I think they're vulnerable. I do, like you said, what Zach Clemens, the dimension he brings to them, and it allows them if McCormick's not scoring inside, it opens up the lane, clearing them out. When you sub them out. But if they're gonna go and and get another championship, they need David McCormick to be more consistent. He needs to be a double-double guy in the tournament or for the rest of the season leading into the tournament if they're gonna cut down nets. But I am right now in the conference. I think they're the team to beat.
One of the things that I look at with this team is what DeJuan Harris is doing from a game-to-game basis. And I think it's so critical that he's giving them productive distribution. Yes. They need that because Christian Brown is a terrific shot maker and has served up in big-time spots in games for this team, big-time shots. And Ochai, they could play through him on any given night, and he could win them a game. He's done that this season. But for me, at the end of the day, when you have these versatile wing-type players who can give you perimeter shooting, and in Agbaji's case, the ability to get to the cup and make things happen, draw a foul, pull up off the dribble, what are you getting consistently at the 1? And for me, Kansas is not a team with elite point guard play. That's one thing. So when you look at their group and you sit here and say, okay, David McCormick hasn't been what he was down the stretch last year. If you combine that with inefficiency at point guard against a team that does have good guard play, that's where Kansas, to me, is in trouble. That's where I worry about them because they don't have a terrific bench. They don't. Joseph Yesufu has not panned out. If you look at what they did tonight against Oklahoma State, it was a starting 5. So that's why, to me, in my mind, I've been tracking DeJuan Harris and what he gives them, Kevin, because I think it's important for them from a macro level, but also just from NCAA tournament. To me, you have to have a composer. And as good of a player as Ochai is, there's got to be the right setup there. And that's come and gone at times for them. When Harris is on like he was tonight, he gave them a good game tonight. 12 points, 5 assists, but he managed the game well. He had control of it. I think that's an underlying key to the Jayhawks.
100%.
Let me ask you guys this then. Who's been more consistent in you guys' opinion between the two? We talked about McCormick. We talked about Harris. Who's been more consistent?
Probably Harris.
I think Harris. Yeah.
That's why I think that's why I went with McCormick. I think Harris he's shown me he's been more consistent and more reliable than McCormick has, and that's why I think they'll go as far as their guards take him. I think he's been pretty steady for him. Yeah, McCormick's ability to kind of man things inside for a Bill Self team is if he shows up and he's a double, they're going to play with anybody.
I think the one thing that's important with Harris, right, is he's never going to be Frank Mason. He's never going to be one of these great, Jayhawk point guards that creates off the bounce explosive. That's just not who he is. But I think what he brings is he's like a lot of the NBA glue guy point guards, where you get the ball up the court and then you make good decisions, right? And right now, the last 5 games, 29 assists compared to 10 turnovers. He's getting steals. He's great defensively in the passing lanes all the time. He's picking his spots when he's shooting the ball from deep. Like, I think that's what they need from DeJuan Harris. Now, do you want a more dynamic shot creator in March? I think you probably do, especially because as good as Ochai Agbaji is, he's not a guy that you're rolling the ball to and saying, go create one, right? He relies on running off of screens or, catch and shoot opportunities. He's not an ISO scorer. If they're looking for a bucket to go get one, they really need it to be Brown. And I think you wish you had the extra element of Remy Martin, who could do that as well.
Yes.
Who could come off the bounce in a situation and just make something happen with the ball in his hands. But I think what Harris does for them, as long as he is playing under control, like you alluded to, Fanta, he just gives you a tremendous steadying force to go with all these guys who want to hunt shots, want to be able to make plays off the bounce. He can just probe, make good passes, make good decisions, and defend. And I think today was a step forward for him. One of his better games of the season, scoring the basketball. But again, it's not really about that for him. It's about taking care of the basketball. It's about making good decisions, about getting in passing lanes. And I just felt like today, and really the last 5 games or so, he's done a much better job of managing the game and creating for others. And the numbers bear that out.
So Kansas comes away a winner over Oklahoma State, and you have the piece of news of Jonathan Chamois sustaining and suffering that major injury. This is Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM, Channel 84. Kevin, I'll stay with you. What does this do to Baylor's ceiling?
I think it's significant because, not only was he a really steady offensive player and a great rebounder, but he was, the heart and soul of that team, a leader, an emotional guy, a guy who understood the defense inside and out. I think that really hurts them more because, right, like Flo Thamba is really good. He's really steady. And your small ball 5 option, Jeremy Sohan's probably gonna be a first round pick, might be a lottery pick. So it's not like you're dropping off massively from a talent standpoint, but the understanding of the defensive system, I think, is the thing that concerns me with losing him, particularly because Baylor's defense has struggled a little bit in conference play. It hasn't been quite as good of late. So, yeah, I mean, I want to watch them play a couple times before I have a real sense of where they're at. Obviously, the Texas game was impressive, and he went out very early in that game. But at the same time, I want to see him a couple times before I say, this changes their national title ceiling. I still think they have the pieces. They have dynamic guards. They have big wings who can really create. They're good defensively. They have a national championship coach. But without a doubt, on paper, it hurts them immensely because he's just so important to the Baylor culture, right? I mean, everyone talks about, the way that they play together and, his selflessness in their offense and on their defensive side as well, with the way that he kind of directs traffic, we really, really missed.
Interesting stuff overall on the Bears and what the challenges are ahead of them, because as you said, Jonathan Chamois Chachua is the heart and soul of that program, and you lose him in the heart of February. That is a major, major loss. We'll see. Don't ever doubt Scott Drew.
They have something, though, that not everyone has. They have great point guard play.
Yes.
And not everyone has that. We talk about a lot, like so many of the teams that we've been discussing that are national championship teams. Think about that 8. How many of them can you say have great point guard play?
Well said. No. Look, less than half. It's an interesting point, and it's a good point. That's why Randolph Childress is on Field of 68 After Dark with Kevin Sweeney, and I'm John Fanta on Sirius XM Channel 84. Up next, we take a look around the ACC, where the relationship status is, it's complicated. This is the Field of 68 After Dark.
Clear for 90.
You're such a machine, Fanta.
Okay, here we go. From Bensky, thoughts on Kansas's jerseys?
I thought those were, the little gym, the little flip, the little reversible. I thought it was reversibles when I first saw it.
Well, Oklahoma was wearing black, so I thought they were wearing. I thought it was like my TV went to black and white or something. I was very confused. I thought it looked cool. I thought it was like a nice little thing, but I was just very confused.
So I like the jerseys, but you can't mess with the Jayhawk and just that whole vibe. Their regulars are so damn good. Don't mess with it.
Yeah,
I love when Kansas wears their blues too. Okay. From Hal, RC, do you credit Arizona's success more to Tommy Lloyd coaching or Sean Miller recruiting?
Both. You don't come into a program like that and be as good as they are without both. The cupboard wasn't empty when he got there, so you credit both. But he has definitely surprised a lot of people and has made them better.
30 seconds.
We have one more here. And it comes from Joseph. We're going to talk more about this on the Field of 68 afters.
20.
Providence or Villanova tomorrow. Ooh. Kevin, your instant pick before we talk to it after the show.
Well, I can't bet against the Friars at the dunk.
10 seconds.
I just can't do it.
All right, RC, quickly.
You already know where I'm going. Go Ed Cooley.
5, 2, 1.
It's the Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM, Channel 84. John Fanta, Sports Illustrated's Kevin Sweeney, ESPN's Randolph Childress, with you here tonight on the ESPNU station. It's Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM, Channel 84. We're presented tonight, as we always are, by the fine folks at Bet Rivers. We're also on Twitter. We are on YouTube as well. Let's head to the conference in which this year has been kind of like a friend zone year. It's just been a tough year overall for the Atlantic Coast Conference. That being said, you still have Mike Krzyzewski at the dinner table, and that matters. That carries clout, right? I mean, I wouldn't want him to be my father-in-law, although we know people in the industry who have that. But that's for another story. Let's talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference here tonight. Virginia and Virginia Tech. Hokies win this game 62-53 in Blacksburg. Randolph, immediate reaction.
I thought it was a better game than people thought. I mean, you knew it was going to be a low-scoring game. Virginia games tend to fly by. They don't foul much, and they do a really good job defending and controlling the pace. Virginia Tech is playing as well as anyone in the ACC for sure. They have enough games left to play themselves into the tournament if they continue on this streak. I like the way they're playing. They're playing good basketball. They shoot the three well, second in the country. And obviously with Kevin Aluma and Justin Mutz, they got a chance.
I actually thought Virginia played a pretty good ball game. I mean, that building, Castle Coliseum is a tough place to play. I mean, I love whenever you're watching a game and you see the fans are literally up against the wall. I mean, the last seat in the house, there are people up against the wall. Like they're feeling the cold air from the outside going through the wall of the building. And that's how it was. I mean, it was a tough environment. I thought Virginia, he really brought it. Shedrick was tough. He continues to emerge for them. Reese Beekman played with a confidence that I haven't seen from him in a while. And Jaden Gardner continues to really emerge as a scorer for them. He had 17 and 14 today. I thought they did a lot of good things, but just couldn't get over the finish line. And, for Virginia, I think this was a game they really needed for their NCAA tournament hopes. Obviously, they get 2 opportunities coming up, Saturday at Miami and then Wednesday at Duke, home against Duke. You win both of those. I mean, it'll obviously change your luck, but I thought they needed this one as a potential quadrant 1 game. But, I think Virginia was a team that we kind of forgot about after they started 0-4 in the league, and they've just kind of scrapped and clawed their way back into, the conversation. The metrics love Virginia Tech. They're top 30.
Do.
We struggled with it. Remember when they were 0-4, we were like, why are they still in the tournament? They were like 0-4 to start the league, and they were still in the tournament. It was crazy.
Yeah, their metrics love the Hokies. Aluma was tremendous today. Blocking shots, rebounding the ball, finishing at the basket. They had no answer. He's been great lately. And, I think this is a team where especially with the way they shoot it, even if they're not in the tournament heading into conference tournament week, you get them going on a run and Couture starts feeling himself and Aline starts feeling it from deep. It could get dangerous. You could make a run to the conference championship game and really get interesting.
Where they've separated themselves, having seen them early in the year and now, is they're getting a bench. They're getting production from their bench. And there's not a lot of teams in this league, just like there's not a lot of teams in the country that and I think that's one of the most underrated things going into the tournament. They're getting production from their bench where I'm telling you 5 games into the ACC play, I think I covered their 5th game, and when Maddox got in and hit a 3, it was the 21st point from the bench in 5 games. And then now, just watching them last game, I mean, I watched Maddox come in and have 10 off the bench. They're just getting production, and they're probably going to a legitimate 8 or 9, 9 deep now, and they didn't have that before.
Well, and the thing with Virginia Tech is I don't think that the nation would put this together, but folks, they're a top 20 KenPom offensive team as things stand in this moment. I don't think people would understand that. And Aluma is one of the more underappreciated players nationally. He's big time. He figures out ways to make things happen for that team. They're a well-coached group that disappointed earlier in the season, but has put it together. And you're right, Kevin. The metrics do like them. They do not own a quad 1 win. They don't have anything that makes you say, oh, God, that's horrible. But where do you side? Will Virginia Tech make the NCAA tournament?
I would lean no unless they can really do something in the conference tournament, right? I think they are going to need to make a significant statement in that event, even if they don't win it. But, man, I mean, if you win out and you get a quad 1 win at Miami, and maybe if Clemson winds up sneaking back into quadrant 1 territory on the road and you steal another there, Carolina this weekend, I wouldn't rule it out, but I think the path is best through the ACC tournament. But again, the bubble, I mean, it's not a high bar to clear right now.
No.
If you just keep winning, let everybody else beat each other up. Let everybody else fall. In 2 weeks, this story might be different. Right now, they're, next 4 out to me at best. I think they're probably, in the really like the next four out, the 9 to 12 away from it. But there's a path there, I think.
It'll change by the week because, I mean, they're all right there, right? I mean, Wake just lost to Miami, and then they got Duke coming up. I mean, there's going to be 4 teams in it for sure, maybe from the ACC, and that's being kind, but they're all going to play and beat each other up here. So, who wins those matches? Virginia Tech I think they dug themselves in too far of a hole, but they're the hottest team in the league, winning 6 straight. They're going to have to finish really strong here. But, Mike, the question is what happens if those other teams come back to them and they somehow, with the metrics loving them, find themselves in the top 4 to 5 right there, and which is possible because after Tuesday, tomorrow, Wake could be 10-6, only a 1 game ahead of them.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if them and Notre Dame are going to wind up regretting deeply the fact that they lost on the road at Boston College. And I get that Earl Grant has got him fighting, but that's the loss, that you look back on, you say, because look, everything else on the resume, I mean, I guess they lost at home to NC State. That's not great. But, you lost at BC. That's the game that's there. That's the game that's there. You pencil it in.
Which one's worse? The NC State's one worse than Boston College.
Right, but NC State has 2 future pros in Sebring and Terquavian Smith.
But the computers don't care about that.
They don't care who you got.
I agree with the metrics. I'm saying when you went in and you game planned it and you looked at who Boston College had, you said, we better be able to beat these guys. We better be able to win that game. You got to find a way. And again, right, every team has those, but I think for the league, and we're about to, kind of try to figure out how many bids this thing's going to get. I think for Virginia Tech and for Notre Dame, that BC game could really be impactful.
The difference, though, was that Notre Dame has a win over Kentucky.
Yes. That win has helped them 100%.
Yeah. And also the difference is that Notre Dame's won 4 in a row, and they're tied for first place in the league.
No, Notre Dame's in a better position right now. I'm not saying that.
They are.
But I'm saying I have them in the field right now. I think they're in good shape. But if it's close, if they're sweating on Selection Sunday, a big reason why they're sweating is because of that Boston College game in early December.
If they're sweating, then it's a 1-bid lead because no one else. Like if they're 11-3, like if they're sweating, it's Duke and they got to be in. If they're sweating, UNC doesn't have a chance.
All right, wait.
Field
of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM Channel 84, Twitter, YouTube. We're sponsored by Bet Rivers, John Fanta, Randolph, Childress, Kevin Sweeney. So we're going to stay right there. Randolph, how many bids will the Atlantic Coast Conference get on Selection Sunday?
I'm going to say 4 for sure, depending on how things finish up 5. But I think they'll get 4.
Okay. I believe in the 5th. I think Duke's obviously there. I think North Carolina's getting in. I think Miami.
Whoa. You just said North Carolina's getting in?
I think North Carolina's getting in the field.
So if North Carolina's getting in, then 5 are probably getting in.
That's the thing. Because this is what let's go back. You're finished. I'm sorry cutting you off, but listen.
No, you're good.
If UNC is going to Virginia Tech this weekend, UNC, do they have a quad 1 win yet?
No, they have to win that game to get their.
You know what I'm saying? So now that oof. Go ahead.
The thing is, though, North Carolina has a clean resume. They have not lost a non-quadrant 1 game.
Clean. It's the equivalent. Clean. It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent to a chain restaurant. Clean. It's the equivalent to it's the equivalent to nothing's open, so I got to go there for the late night appetizers because I don't have a choice. Clean. That is not clean.
Yes, it is. By definition, the clean. No. I'm not
Kevin,
saying
it's a middle-class resume. North Carolina's resume is a middle-class resume. It might get them in because their name carries more weight than another, and I'm saying they will television get in the revenue.
I agree with that. I don't think it's a spectacular resume by any means, but I think they will.
That's an understatement. Their resume is bad. I said it. They may have the worst resume of obviously a Duke, Notre Dame, Miami, Wake, and Virginia. They have the worst resume.
They do have the best metrics of Notre Dame, Miami. They have way better metrics, 20 spots different in the net and KenPom. So I think that helps them.
That means somebody from Carolina is just doing the analytics thing, because there's no way you can tell me that resume thing. They've been blown out by any decent opponent that they've had.
I've been wondering what Roy Williams is doing. He's programming.
Yeah. He's at home on his computer making it happen, baby.
Let me tell you something right now, Kevin. You cannot say that North Carolina's resume is clean.
It's clean by definition. Is you're not loose. You have no Q3. They have no Q3 losses, no Q4 losses,
and they don't even have a Q1 wins.
Loss.
No quad 1 wins.
Yeah, they're winless against quadrant 1 and undefeated against everybody else. That's the definition of clean. They've done nothing wrong.
Clean.
Oh my God.
North Carolina's resume is clean.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I don't think you can sit here and say, A clean resume to me is one that has some nice looking wins on it and has no blemishes. Some areas for improvement, but that's clean. Like they don't have, there's nothing, no part of that play is shiny.
No,
for North Carolina.
How about I frame it this way? North Carolina has yet to screw up yet. North Carolina has yet to do something to take themselves out of the NCAA tournament. They have not,
but they haven't done anything to put themselves in. They haven't done
Yeah.
anything to put themselves in. That's the difference. We can't say to take it out. They haven't done anything to put themselves in it.
The only thing that holds them in right now is that their metrics are good and that they haven't lost anyone bad. And eventually someone's going to jump them if they don't beat someone, right? But they have Virginia Tech this weekend on the road. They go to Duke at the end of the season. They'll get probably 2 opportunities in the conference tournament.
You think they're winning?
Win a couple, right?
You think they're winning? You think they're beating Coach K in his last act at Cameron?
No, but I think they're winning at Virginia Tech on Saturday.
North Carolina is the equivalent to Jeff Fisher.
No, Sweeney. I bet you dinner on that one.
Virginia Tech?
Yes.
Okay.
They are not going in the castle getting that.
And let me tell you something right now. I'm hopping in on that dinner, and it's medium rare.
Yes, baby. And
It's
I like
medium
wine
rare.
with mine, and I'm not a cheap date, so get ready.
Yeah.
All
Let
that
me
money
tell-
you making, we talked about it last time. All that money, baby.
Yeah. Let
Get
me tell
ready
you something.
Card, baby.
Oh, yeah. He's in that workers
Y'all are gonna
union.
kill me at the Final Four.
He's in that. Oh, we are killing you in the Final Four. Let me tell you something. On this big Monday, there weren't a lot of college basketball games. Guess who lost to me tonight? The Cows. Cows took a loss. A big loss tonight. They are on the outside looking in. This is the Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM, Channel 84. It's the Valentine's Day show, which means after this, we are playing the college basketball newlyweds game. You have to marry somebody. You have to just date somebody. RC was doing that in his playing days. He was stealing Tim Duncan's girls. And you got to dump somebody. That's next on After Dark. Okay.
Clear for 90.
I'm just messing with you, RC.
No,
Okay.
I'm good, man. I can take it.
All right. Okay, here we go. What do we got here? Let me see here.
What's the Carter Elliott question?
This is amazing. So Carter Elliott asked, who would be the best father-in-law? Coach K, John Calipari, or Tom Izzo? Izzo.
Cal.
I think Cal. Yeah. Cal.
Really?
Although I can
Why?
Because Cal just seems like the father-in-law that I'm just, hey, God, enjoy yourself. Here, take the card. Take the
If you had to
1
ask
minute.
take the
Izzo,
Ferrari. Go show her a good time. You know what I mean? Like,
he's definitely like throwing like a big like beach vacation over the summer. that everybody's
He'll
coming
be
to.
like, hey, come on a private plane with us. We're gonna fly, take the family down to the Bahamas.
If you had to ask
Tom
for
Izzo looks
Izzo's
like he'll be that scene in Martin on Bad Boy 2.
if you had to ask for Izzo's daughter's hand in marriage from Izzo, I think I would move on. I mean, I'd be too nervous. Like, I can't do it. He's gonna chew me out.
30 seconds.
I don't think. I'm sorry. I'm saying this. I don't think I could pick up like if it were Coach K's daughter.
20 seconds.
I would be so nervous in the house lobby. I'd be nervous. I would be. It's Coach
I don't
K.
blame you.
I don't want to let him
10
down.
seconds.
I'm going Izzo. I just think he's cool. I think he'll talk. Just to be different.
5,
All right, here we go.
2, 1.
Folks, this is why this crew was assembled for Field of 68 After Dark Valentine's Night Edition. Sirius XM, Channel 84. We are taking you until roughly 11:58. So we have 10 minutes to play this game. It's the Field of 68's college basketball newlyweds game, which means you have to marry one. You have to just date one. And you got to unfortunately dump somebody. Somebody's getting dumped tonight. Hey, Sweeney, have you ever been dumped?
It's no fun.
It's no fun, man. I've been dumped. She got a movie out of me and then Chipotle and then said, I'm out. Randolph, you ever been dumped?
I have. So we all got something in common.
We've all been dumped. Who's going to get dumped tonight? You got to marry somebody. Marrying means that you're committed to them. You are committed to them. Dating means you like it. You know, you like a nice night out, but you're not ready to marry them. And dump See ya. Sayonara. Here we go. Get your flowers and chocolates ready. First one, Randolph. Marry one, date one, dump one. Mark Few, Matt Painter, Chris Beard. And these are hard, folks.
I'm going to marry Few. I'm going to date. I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment. I'm going to date Beard. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm such a fan, but I'm going to dump Painter. Not because of his fault, because it's two of his best players. But no, I'll stick with that. I'm going to dump Painter. You killing me with this.
So you marry Few for the consistency.
Yeah.
You date Beard because you can have fun with him, but he's going to leave after 5 years.
Yeah, he's going to leave. He's not going to stick around, so I got to have fun with him.
He's not quite as exciting as the other.
And then Painter's dealing with his alma mater. He's home. Yeah. He's comfortable. Yeah. So that's my order. That's what I'm sticking with.
Okay, Kevin.
Yeah. What do we got? Or my answer here?
Yeah, you have to give an answer.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm marrying Few. I'm dating Chris Beard because, like I said, he's gonna stick around for fun. He's gonna move on eventually. But we're gonna have some fun while we do it, and then we're dumping Matt Painter.
I'm marrying Chris Beard.
Wow.
He got to it. Yeah, I'm willing to make the move from state to state. I'm fine with it. I don't think Texas is his last stop either, but I think he's got national championships in store in his career. He's still relatively young. I'm going to date Mark Few. I love Mark Few, but I don't love him enough to marry him because he still doesn't have the one. And look, that's the tough reality there.
He will next month.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm going to dump Painter. Unfortunately, it stinks, but I am. Marry one, date one, dump one. Sweeney, Jaden Ivey, Johnny Zuzang, Johnny Davis.
So I'm taking this as like a 5 seconds on the clock. Who do you want taking the shot? Who do you want the ball in the hand?
Right.
I think I trust Johnny's clutch gene. So I'm marrying Johnny. He's steady.
Well, which one?
He's a rock. Johnny Davis. He's a rock. He's gonna make tough shots. I'm a big Johnny Davis guy. All of my college basketball group chats will attest to this.
Oh yeah, they will.
I think I'll stick with my strategy. I'll date Jaden Ivey because he is a little volatile. We're gonna have some fun. There's gonna be some there's gonna be some high highs and some low lows. There's gonna be moments, like the Ohio State game where he's hitting 26-foot fadeaway jumpers when he ran the play wrong. We're gonna have a blast, but sometimes it's just too much to handle. And then I think we're dumping Johnny Juzang because he's had his moment. He's past his college basketball prime. His moment was last year in the NCAA tournament. It was an unbelievable run. You can't match it again. I don't want to be chasing.
So you're doing it's not you, it's me with exactly.
Juzang. Right.
Go ahead, Randolph. Yeah.
I'm gonna marry Davis. I think that's pretty consistent. That's how do you go against him? He's arguably player of the year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna date Johnny Juzang.
Wow.
I'm gonna date, and I'm gonna dump Ivy. I just think he'll begin to play his best basketball right now. We're counting UCLA out. I think he's gonna show up. So that's my order.
Okay, I'm gonna marry Davis. I'm gonna date Ivy. I'm gonna unfortunately dump Juzang. So I'm with Sweeney. All right, Randolph. Marry one, date one, dump one. SEC. Big 12, Big 10. Woo! This is hard.
Wow. All right. I'm definitely going to marry the SEC, because I think they got two teams that are legit Final Four teams. I think Kentucky and Auburn. I don't think we can, if they're in, I would imagine they're in all of our 6 or 8 teams for the tournament. I'm going to date the Big 12, and I'm going to dump the Big 10.
Yeah. No, it pains me to say this because I'm a Big 10 guy. I'm a Big 10 country. But I don't think the Big 10 doesn't have a Final Four team this year.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
You just shot that from half court. Kevin Sweeney, 11:54 p.m. Eastern Time, Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM Channel 84, just said the Big Ten doesn't have a Final Four team.
They don't, and so they're getting dumped. As sad as it is, we've got a good run. They're dumped.
Okay.
Our title winner will come from. So we're going to marry the SEC. Yeah, as RC said, you have the two elite teams at the top.
One hell of a wedding,
and you've got hell of a wedding, a lot of money, and certainly. There's even some teams with some upside that we haven't talked about. It could be a sneaky Final Four. Alabama and Arkansas they're playing good basketball.
Yeah.
And then the Big 12. We'll date them. They're a good runner-up. They have great teams. They have experience, the pedigree. Obviously, with Kansas and Baylor as teams that have won championships recently. Texas Tech was just in the national championship game a couple of years back. The coaches in this league are fantastic, and several of them have been to Final Fours and national championship games. But to me, it's SEC, then Big 12, then unfortunately the Big 10.
Okay, I'm unfortunately going to have to dump the Big 10. I'm going to date the SEC. I'm going to get a prenup with the Big 12. We're going to be married for 2 years, and then we're getting a divorce, and I'm marrying the Big East. So
I was surprised you didn't just say you were marrying the Big East to begin with.
From the beginning,
the Big East
yeah.
already
Mary
married.
dropped somebody.
I gave it a shot. They had an affair. Texas and Oklahoma had affairs. And so then we got divorced and we got with somebody else. Okay.
Yeah.
Marry one, date one, dump one. We have 2 minutes, so we got to be quick. Randolph, Ty Washington, Kellen Grady, Severe Wheeler.
Dumping Wheeler, marrying Ty. Who's the other one?
Grady.
And I'm
Kellen
dating
Grady.
Grady.
Yeah, I'm marrying Ty. I'm gonna date Severe Wheeler, and I'm dumping Kellen Grady. I think Severe Wheeler is underrated. I think he takes too much heat for Kentucky struggles.
Why do you think he takes too much heat?
Because he's the guy with the ball in his hands. That's
Yeah, good
what
point.
comes with being the point guard in Kentucky.
Do you
You're
guys
the
think
same guy that said, no, go ahead. You're the same guy that questioned them. Are they better with Ty at the point? You cheat on him. You're going to cheat on him. You're going to cheat on him.
Oh, he's a cheater. He's a cheater. No wonder he's single. Okay, we got 1 minute.
What you got, Fanta?
What was your best prom night experience? Go.
Oh, who you got?
What in the world? what happened to our Cinderella, our newlywed game here?
Murray State, Wyoming, or Colorado State? You got 15 seconds. Murray State, Wyoming, or Colorado State? I'm marrying Wyoming.
Give me all the Colorado State stock. I love
You're
the
marrying
Rams.
them.
Go Rams.
Wyoming.
Nobody. I'm going to date Murray State though. Matt McMahon's done a great job.
I
Right?
agree.
Fair enough.
You didn't pick the Kentucky backcourt, though.
Well, I'd marry Ty, and I would date Kellen Grady. I'm sorry, Severe. I'm sorry. You're not getting my rose. You're not getting my rose. Oh, this was fun. A Valentine's Day edition of the Field of 68 After Dark did not disappoint. Join us on Twitter and YouTube for afters. For Kevin Sweeney, Randolph Childress, Den Day, Greg Waddell, this is John Fanta saying so long. Hope you enjoyed your chocolates. See you tomorrow night. Okay. Field of 68 After Dark Afters. What? Prom night. I'm trying. So one prom night, I think I drank. I had a good date. Okay. It was never going to be anything more than just the night. Right. So I drank probably half a handle of moonshine on the prom night. Had it passed out.
Where were you living? You're drinking moonshine. You're a Northeast guy, right, Fanta? No, Ohio.
Ohio.
Okay, I can buy the
Oh, yeah.
moonshine now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Jersey. I'm like, who's drinking moonshine in Jersey?
So the next morning comes around and we had stayed somewhere at somebody's house for the after party. You know, your garage, high school, music, call me maybe. You got handles, you got pong, you got all that stuff going on. So we get up the next morning, they're serving pancakes and bacon. And like I walk out of wherever, you know, you just fell asleep wherever. It was high school. I walk out of wherever to go out towards the kitchen table, say hi to the, you know, buddy's mom. Good morning. You know, thanks for having us. I was kind of the diplomat of the friend group. And I looked at my prom date and I said, what's going on? Wasn't last night great? She looks at me and goes, can we get the hell home? I'll start back in the car. Want to stop for a McDonald's sausage biscuit on the way back? No. And that was the end of it. We haven't seen each other. We haven't seen each other since.
Wow.
I'm thinking
Great
Randolph
college basketball programming.
Yeah, it is. It's elite. I mean, it's midnight here. Field of 68 After Dark Afters. It's amazing. It's the best. Go ahead, Randolph.
You had a better time than I did. Believe it or not, I didn't even make it to my high school graduate. I missed the graduation and everything.
Oh, you were going.
Yeah.
You were too busy.
No, you know what? My gown and everything was in my car with my father, and I rode with my mother. And traffic was crazy. Graduation was at some other place, and they got lost.
Oh.
And I had relatives in town and couldn't, so so I didn't make it. I just said, I got so mad that I was like, I'm not just walking with no robe or nothing. I was like, just take me back home. Like
Right.
the hell with it.
Right. Order a pizza and celebrate that way.
Like whatever.
Kevin?
Yeah, so all my buddies, we had like all my buddies, this is gonna be this sound a little lame, but me and my buddies, we were all like,
Oh
we kinda-
no. No, you did not do this.
we did skip, but we went so there was so let me preface this. There is a picnic the day of where everybody parties, they drink during the day, they have a good time. So we went out, we went to the picnic, we hung out at the picnic, and then we went to the Mets game.
Oh my God. Are you
Yes.
serious?
When was that? When was this, like last year, 2 years ago?
Oh, here we go. Hey, I've grown up a lot here in the last 5 years, RC. Give me a break here.
All right.
Give me
My
a break.
bad. All
We had a
right.
lovely evening. We had a great
Okay,
time.
Okay.
All right. We weren't into it. We were ready to move on.
All right.
Kevin Sweeney skipped his prom
Went to the Met game.
and
That's-
went
that's
to
correct.
a Mets game.
It was
That's
Did
actually awesome, though. I give you props for that. I would do
Yeah.
that too.
Why not?
Did they win?
The Mets. I have no recollection of the game.
You just
hung
went and
out.
got hammered.
It was the
huh?
guys. Yeah, we went out. Went down. Had a lovely time. Hung out with the guys. Told great high school stories. It was kind of the last hurrah. It was great. It was our own little last hurrah. This is unbelievable.
Oh, this is great. I love the love stories deep into the night. It's great stuff. I would love, if the college basketball coverage thing doesn't work out, I'd love to be like a Dear Abby hotline that you could call in. We'll give you advice as you talk about your relationship status. But that's for another show. Our highlight of After Dark Afters tonight is actually a huge game later today now that we're after midnight.
Yeah.
A top 10 matchup at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. It is just the second time that Providence has ever hosted a top 10 game. It's the Friars, it's Villanova, it's the best two teams in the Big East in quite the regular season title race in this conference. Randolph, Childress, what do you expect out of this atmosphere later tonight, out of this game later tonight, out of this war between the Wildcats and Friars?
That's exactly what it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be a flat out war because, as we know, Villanova is not ready to give up the Big East crown. I mean, that's just, we just expect them to hold on to it. They're going to, I just think it's Providence time. And I think they're going to, Villanova needs the 2 games against them to get back if they want to win. But I think Providence leaves no doubt. And I think they're going to take care of business tomorrow. I like the matchup of their bigs against Eric Dixon. We talked about that a little bit earlier today. That matchup, Dixon's going to have to play out of his mind, I think, from the perimeter. I think he struggles to finish inside he'll struggle to finish inside against that size. But can he make enough jump shots to spread them out on that switching defense? And I don't think they want to switch as much because I like the guard play of Providence as much as I like the guard play of Villanova. But I think the advantage inside goes to Providence. And my only question with them is, can they control their emotions in that environment? And what I mean by that is the early fouls, the unnecessary fouls and things of that nature that, Villanova's been there. They're accustomed to those. Every game for them, they get this type of treatment everywhere they go. So That would be the only thing that concerns me about Providence. This is new to them.
I think for me, the matchup I'm most looking forward to in this is how does Providence deal with the physical guards that Villanova has, right? I think we think about Villanova, we think about, their shooting and their finesse team, but Gillespie's a big veteran dude. Justin Moore is huge, big physical guy. Slater, these guards are bigger guys. And how will Durham and Bynum deal with that? Bynum in particular has just been really, really good for them of late. And a guy who earned a lot of criticism last season, struggled at times. And the DePaul game, he was outstanding. 25 points, seven rebounds, 6 assists. He had the 32-point outburst against Georgetown on the road. I mean, he's been terrific. And I think they're going to need elite point guard play to win this game because what you're going to get from the Villanova guards. So to me, I think it's all about Durham and Bynum, how they deal with that. And I think also, obviously, the shooting variance, right? I mean, Villanova, when they shoot the ball from 3 at a high level, it's really hard to beat them. 5-7 teams can beat them. When they don't, they're very beatable. And I think when you go into an environment like this, I almost think the first 5 shots will determine the day, right? If Villanova hits their first 5 threes or hits 2 or 3 of them, watch out, Providence. It could get ugly quick with the way Villanova spreads it around. But if they struggle early and they don't build that confidence and that building gets on them, it's going to be challenging for Villanova.
Okay, so here's the thing. These are the top 2 defensive teams in the Big East. I think this is a 1st to 60 game, if not 1st to 55. It will be an absolute war. There are a couple of items in this matchup that are particularly fascinating. The first one being that Jared Bynum is back-to-back Big East Player of the Week and is playing the best basketball of his career at the moment. That is a big change because Bynum was injured for a period earlier this season. And guys, he's never been that consistent from the perimeter. Lately, he has been. He's been very, very good. And he gives them offensive bursts. And one thing about Ed Cooley that defines his success, if you look over his career, is when he has perimeter shooting, Providence will defend you. They'll rebound the basketball well enough. They didn't do it against DePaul very well. The question with Providence always is, do they have enough on the perimeter? Bynum, combined with Al Durham, is enough to give Villanova's backcourt issues. This is a tall task for Colin Gillespie. He's fully capable of managing the game, but it will take more than just game management to win this game. The creation of open looks, and that's where I look at Justin Moore and Caleb Daniels. They've got to be on point. They have to be on point. They have to be shot ready. They've got to make things happen. For me, though, if you look at Villanova's season, what did we say going into the season was the big storyline for them? It was that Gillespie and Jermaine Samuels have come back. Guys, overall, Jermaine Samuels has not had a good year. He's not been what they anticipated. When he's been on, and even on Saturday against Seton Hall, made a timely shot late in the game. It changes who they are because you have a stretch man who's physical, who's long, who can pull guys out. Him and Eric Dixon are both capable of that. So for me, I think Villanova's key comes actually at their 3, 4, 5 slots. I think Providence's key actually comes from their 1 and 2 play. Because for me, Providence's key variable this year is they can count on Al Durham late in the game to make something happen. They can count on Jared Bynum now to make a shot. And A.J. Reeves comes and goes, but you can count on those 2 guys. Villanova, however, it can't just be Gillespie and Moore in a game against the elite. And the fact is, Providence is 21-2 and on their home floor. They're elite. That's what this game on Tuesday night comes down to for me. I think it's a terrific matchup. And I think, to me, the key question to answer is, where does the depth in offense come from in this game? Who has more depth to their scoring?
I kind of lean. I think for me with Providence, it's been different guys stepping up on different nights.
All year long.
Know whose night it's going to be. And I think that really helps them in a game like this. It really does. It goes right to the depth. I mean, again, they're not a super deep team. Like, you're not looking and saying, wow, their 9th and 10th guys are so great. But everyone has found ways to contribute Sometimes it's Horkler, sometimes it's Minaya going for 15, right? They have 6, 7 guys who can give you 15. And I think that's valuable against a Villanova team that is underrated defensively. That is a much better defensive team than people think of, because they are old, because they are physical, because they are well schooled, and because Brandon Slater is a wrecker on. Really, I mean, he can, really impact the game because he can guard every position on the floor.
But what do you get? And like you said, it's just with those guys. I like the fact that with Providence, we don't know. It is a different guy, and it can be a different guy every night. I think with Villanova, again, if it's true what you said, John, it's around like a 60-point game. That means Villanova is struggling from the perimeter. That favors Providence. I think Villanova's shot is they gotta shoot high 30s to 40% from 3.
I agree with that to win.
And if they don't, I think they're in trouble.
They are in trouble. And here's the thing. I don't think Eric Dixon is having as much success in the post against Providence as he's had against other opponents. Providence has the matchups for him. Right. Another key guy to keep an eye on, Noah Horkler, seems to really he seems to fly under the radar. Ed Cooley talks about how he plays mindlessly. He looks like Sunshine from Remember the Titans. He kind of plays like him too, and he helps them win. I mean, he really does. If you take a look here, I'm just pulling up KenPom, which Providence fans just starting to walk away, but folks, please do not. If you take a look at KenPom, Villanova in tempo is 354th. Providence is 296. That's why we're calling it a war. Okay? Like transition, this is old school, man. This is what the Big East was built on. These are 2 longtime members, 2 longtime rivals. This isn't, and this is no offense to the newer members, but this game's being played in the city that the Big East was founded in. It's Providence College's biggest regular season home game in the history of the school. There are tickets to this game that are going for upwards of $1,000. Mm-hmm. The building is in downtown. There are some students that are going to set up tents tomorrow during the day to be ready for the 8 o'clock tip. It's an 8 o'clock tip. There are not many college basketball 8 o'clock tips. That is perfect for a fan to have a couple drinks, to get a nice bite to eat, and be ready to go. And it's Villanova. It's the team that has been the standard in the Big East and for the most part nationally over the last 5-6 years against the coach who's made history in his hometown. It's the perfect Hollywood script. And we always talk about the Big East is Villanova's until someone takes it from them. If someone's going to take it from them, tonight is the night. Now that is fun. So we're going to be on the ground. Jeff Goodman's going to be on site. Terrence Oglesby's already there. I have an Amtrak in 7 hours, getting up and bolting it straight to Villanova shoot-around. I am so excited for this game. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic matchup between 2 physical teams and 2 teams who just, they've got big-time players without maybe, they don't have an NBA player. But this is kind of what college basketball, like the Big East is not a one-and-done conference. It's not this league that's filled with pros. But like if you're the traditionalist in college basketball, guys, this is your matchup. It's kind of a flashback in time. Really is.
It's a throwback game. No doubt about it.
For 2 top 10 teams. Yeah. All right, 3 cheers. Kevin, go.
Cheers to John Fanta's prom date.
Why, for walking out? For booking it?
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to dance with her to Every Time We Touch, but yeah, I ended up not getting selected to the Field of 68 for that one. All right, Randolph, go ahead.
Not a lot going on collegially today, but I'm going to give it to Kansas.
Okay.
Taking care of business, no slip-ups today. They did nothing to think, to prove, for us to think any different, that they're a team that can cut down nets or at least be a Final Four team. So to Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks. Plus, my daughter graduated from their grad school, so she's probably listening.
Oh,
so I gotta
love that.
I love that. I'm gonna hand out my 3 cheers to the Horizon League tonight because a season after they played a crazy triple overtime conference tournament game if memory serves me correctly. They played another triple overtime game tonight. Cleveland State and Purdue Fort Wayne was wild. Fort Wayne wins this game 102-98. Unbelievable win. Cleveland State has had a great year again under Dennis Gates, and I think will end up winning the Horizon League tournament and getting back to the NCAA tournament. But tonight, I mean, you had a total of, I'm just looking at this, 12 players score in double figures. And I'm going to give it to Jalen Pipkins from Fort Wayne. Pipkins played 51 minutes tonight. The man went for 27 points, 4 rebounds, but he scores 27 points. He played 51 minutes. That's a game high. Mr. Pipkins, take a bow. Fort Wayne gets the win. 3 cheers to that guy. That guy deserves to get a nice rest. I hope he had a bay to go back to for Valentine's Day after playing. You play 51 minutes, man. You deserve to go home to somebody.
He better have that on some moonshine like he had back in the day.
And to keep it PG rated, we will stop right there. Although I don't think we did. Thanks to Greg Waddell for tolerating us. Thanks to Randolph Childress. Thanks to Kevin Sweeney. I'm John Fanta. We are back tonight, 11 Eastern time. We're on about a, let's see here, math, 24-hour break or so before, 23-hour break rather or so before we're back with After Dark after Providence and Villanova, part of a loaded Tuesday. Rob Douster's going to host.